I'm here with my Nesco 4-quart roaster oven, and I am going to be making some ratatouille.
Counter cooking. No kitchen, no problem.
These are the ingredients that I will be using for my ratatouille. The majority of these are from my weekly farm box, and I have 2 eggplants, 2 zucchinis, 2 yellow squash, yellow onion, a few cloves of garlic, and then I have 3 frying peppers. I'll also be adding a can of crushed tomatoes. If I had enough fresh tomatoes, I could use those, but I'm going to use a can of crushed tomatoes. If you're not familiar with ratatouille, it is basically a summer vegetable stew, and there are so many different recipes for it and variations and ways you can make it. It's basically something that you can make with whatever summer vegetables you have on hand. Many people like to use vegetables that they grow in their garden, and what's nice about this recipe is you can basically use whatever you have on hand. You don't really have to worry about amounts or specific ingredients. If I didn't have yellow squash, for example, I just wouldn't make it with yellow squash. If I only had 1 eggplant, I'd only make it with 1 eggplant. Right now, since I'm using the 4-quart roaster oven, my concern is being able to fit the vegetables in it. I think I could fit all these vegetables in the 4-quart roaster oven. I might have to wait for some of the vegetables to cook down a little bit first, but I am going to try to use up all of these vegetables. I'm cooking this for a family dinner that is either tomorrow or the next day. And another really nice thing about a recipe like this is it's the kind of recipe that actually tastes better the next day. So I'm going to make it today, then I'm going to let it cool down, and then I'll put it in my fridge. And then tomorrow or the next day, all I have to do is warm it up and serve it, and it tastes even better than the day it's made. Also, this can be served on its own, or it can be served with rice or pasta or egg noodles, or even on toast or with bread. So it can be eaten on its own as a vegetable stew, or it can be paired with any starch of your choice for a more filling meal. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut up the onion. So I just plugged the roaster in. I have it set to 350, and I'm going to add some olive oil to the bottom, maybe like a tablespoon of olive oil, and then I'm going to add my chopped onions. That's half of an onion. There's the other half of the onion, so that's a whole onion. So the way that this roaster oven cooks is the sides of the oven heat up, not the bottom of the oven. So that's why we don't hear it sizzling or anything like that now, because it's not heating from the bottom, it's heating from the sides. I just added about 4 cloves of chopped garlic. I just added the 3 peppers, and now I'm going to give this a stir. It's starting to sizzle, so I'm trying to work fast with getting the other ingredients added. So when I make this, I like to kind of cut up the ingredients as I go along. So as the onions are cooking, then I cut up the peppers. And as the peppers are cooking, now I'm cutting up the eggplant. I find that I really like how it helps the flavors to combine versus cutting everything in advance and just dumping it in together. But that is an option also. I just added one of the eggplants, which I've cut up into cubes. I'm going to give this a stir. It's starting to smell really, really good. Another nice thing about cutting up the ingredients as it's starting to cook is it will actually cook down a little bit while I'm still cutting the ingredients. So hopefully we'll be able to fit everything into this roaster. I just added the 2nd eggplant, and I'm going to give this a stir. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to it. Maybe that was like a half a cup of water. I just want to make sure it's not sticking. And I want to get all of the vegetables in here before I add the canned tomatoes. I just added 1 of the zucchinis and 1 of the yellow squash. And I'm going to give this another stir. It's really filling up. Like, there's not a whole lot of room to even stir this. Also, as these vegetables cook, they should release some water. So that's why I don't want to add too much water, because they will release water as they cook. Okay, I think I could fit the other 2 squashes in here. It's going to be tight, but I think I could do it. All of the vegetables are in, and like I am full to the top of this roaster with these vegetables. So I need them to cook down a little bit, but I will be adding the can of crushed tomatoes because we definitely need to get some liquid in here. But I just want to give it a little bit of a stir, just to kind of get a feel of what's going on underneath the veggies on top. Okay. So I have a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, which I just added. I just added some water to the can to kind of swish it around and get all of the tomato out of the can. Probably about 10 ounces of water. So it's going to add some additional liquid to this. Now I'm going to stir it around again, the best that I can until the veggies start cooking down. I'm not adding any seasoning yet because this will be cooking for a while. And once it starts cooking down, then I'm going to add some herbs and some seasonings. But right now, I'm not. I'm just trying to push everything to the middle of the roaster. And now I'm going to put the lid on it. So here's the roaster with the lid on it. There are little holes on top of the lid to let some steam out. And I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes and then I'm going to come back and check on this and see how it's doing. It's been about a half hour now and this is what is going on. As you can see, there's quite a lot of liquid in here and it is simmering away, which is really good. That's what we want. And the veggies are cooking down just a little bit. They still have a ways to go. I'm just giving it a stir. So I'm going to cover this and let it cook another half hour. It's been another half hour, so it's been an hour total. And let's open this up. I'm trying to be very careful. There's going to be a lot of steam. So this is what it looks like. The vegetables still have a ways to go. This roaster is full of vegetables, so I do expect it to take a while to cook down. I'm going to continue to cook this until the vegetables are all really nice and soft and some of this liquid has evaporated off, so it's going to cook down quite a bit. But right now, I think it's a good time to start putting some seasonings into it. Oops, I just spilled stuff. Let me clean that up. I just added a few fresh basil leaves, which I've cut up. I also added some fresh parsley, just a very small handful. I'm going to stir these in. I'm also adding a dried bay leaf. Now with bay leaves, you don't want to eat the whole bay leaf like that. You just want to add it for flavor and then before serving you fish out the bay leaf. I'm also going to add a little bit of dried thyme. I'm just sprinkling that in here. Maybe that was like half a teaspoon. I don't know, I didn't measure it, but I'm just going to stir that in. And then I think that'll be good. Again, with ratatouille, you can kind of use whatever you have or whatever you like. So I used my fresh basil, my fresh parsley, a dried bay leaf, and then some dried thyme. So this is looking really good. I'm going to cover it again and then cook it for another half hour. The reason why I keep checking it every half hour is because I've not made this in this roaster oven before. I've made it on a stove, but I haven't made it in this roaster oven, so I just want to keep an eye on how it's cooking. Okay, it's been another half hour and this is what's going on. It's looking really good. Like it's starting to thicken up. And the vegetables are really starting to cook down. It smells wonderful now that all of the herbs have been added. It's definitely starting to make me hungry. I'm actually going to taste this right now. I just want to see what's going on here with the sauce. That is really good. But I do like to make the flavors a little bit more complex, so I'm going to add just a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Maybe like a tablespoon. And I'm going to add maybe like a teaspoon of honey. Some people like to add just a little bit of sugar. The apple cider vinegar and the little bit of honey or sugar really helps to bring out flavors and definitely add a little bit more complexity to what's going on here. It could use just a little bit of salt and pepper, but because this is not for me and several people are going to be eating it, I prefer that they season it how they like it. So there will be salt and pepper on the table and everyone can put as much or as little as they like. Right now this is really flavorful. I'm really happy with how it's coming out. And I think the vegetables just need to be cooked a little bit more. So I'm going to cook this for another half hour. We have to remember that this was jam-packed full of vegetables, so it will take a little bit longer to cook. It's been another half hour. We're at 2 hours total cooking time. I just turned off the roaster. This is what's going on inside, and this looks really, really good. The veggies have cooked down and the liquid has thickened. Yeah, this looks really, really nice. That's what it looks like up close. Just gonna grab some veggies. Excellent. Really, really good. This came out really, really nice. I'm definitely happy with how it came out. So now I'm going to let it sit here and cool off for a while. Then I'm going to put it in some storage containers and put it in the fridge overnight. And it looks like we will be eating this tomorrow. So tomorrow before it's served, then I'll figure out what it's going to be served with. Are we eating it with rice or noodles or potatoes or what? So for now, it's done. So I'm having a little bit of the ratatouille for dinner today because I made it and it smells so good and I tasted it before and it tastes so good. So I just need to eat a little bit for dinner and then I should be good until tomorrow. So I have a piece of Italian bread on the bottom of this bowl that I've cut into pieces. Can you see there's like pieces of bread here? So I'm eating the ratatouille on bread and this will be really good. So good. I did add a little bit of salt to this bowl, but it is so good right now. I should mention that some people also like to add a little bit of hot pepper to this, either in the form of some hot sauce or some cayenne pepper or some chili flakes. That's fine also, but my family doesn't like it spicier. They like it like this, just nice and mild. So this came out wonderful. I'm really happy. The roaster worked really well for this. And so that's how easy it is to make ratatouille in a Nesco 4-quart roaster oven. I hope this video is helpful for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.